How's it hanging, people? I'm Lindsay Geektron, and this is LolKing's League Trends for the week of October 28th, 2014. This week's featured champions include Sejuani, Darius, Papi, Hecarim, Rengar, and Braum. Love talking about new champions. Aw yeah. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. Increased pick rates this week include Nidalee, Azir, Kassadin, Papi, and Sejuani. The Winter's Wrath is a surprisingly popular champion. She's traditionally considered a jungler, but lately has seen some play as an AP mid laner. We'll discuss both roles. Odd as it may sound, Sejuani does have several strengths when placed in mid. She has mobility from her Arctic Assault, burst, and ranged initiation. These things make her a good roamer, and she can outduel squishier champions in mid. That said, some ranged mid laners can harass Sejuani down and prevent an all-in. Her damage is melee range, so if she's low on health or behind on gold, she'll struggle. As a jungler, Sejuani is a really good ganker but has mediocre clear speed. Like many other non-meta junglers, she struggles against invades from early game bullies like Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, or J4. If she survives the early game, Sejuani does bring significant CC and damage to team fights. Seeing as winter is coming, her rise in popularity seems apt. This week, the top 5 champions with the largest decrease in pick rates are Sion, Lee Sin, Darius, Shyvana, and Lucian. The Hand of Noxus got a new skin recently, and now that people have had a chance to try it out, his pick rate has gone back down. The Dunkmaster is a favorite of many players, but he's had a rough time for a while now. Darius is a major lane bully, but has no sustain or escapes, and often wilts under jungle pressure. He wins many duels due to crippling strikes attack speed slow, and is also good in 2v2 skirmishes. These strengths make him a big snowballer, but if he makes mistakes early, he struggles to be relevant. Darius has trouble scaling not because of his numbers, but because he's a little too straightforward to teamfight. He needs a couple of seconds in melee range to get full damage on his Noxian Guillotine ultimate. Most teams have enough crowd control to prevent him from fulfilling on his reset fantasies, even when he does close the gap with his Apprehend. While the meta is always shifting, it's unlikely Darius will show up much more in the end of Season 4. Champions with an increase in win rate are Nidalee, Azir, Kassadin, Papi, and Sejuani. The Iron Ambassador has been under the radar for quite a long time, but she managed to be picked in a pro game not long ago. She is one of the strongest late game champions, but players have struggled with getting there until recently. Papi isn't really a strong top laner. However, the shifting metagame has brought a number of passive tanks to the lane, such as Maokai and Dr. Mundo. Papi can survive the laning phase against these champions, and once she has a Triforce, she gets a big damage boost. At this point, many Papi players will choose to roam. She gets a big movement speed boost from her Paragon of Demacia, and can assassinate or tower dive with her Diplomatic Immunity ultimate. For those playing against Papi, remember that her ultimate blocks not just damage, but crowd control as well. The target of her ultimate is the only person that could do anything to her, so don't even waste your abilities. Exhaust will also only work if it's from the player being targeted, so consider bringing multiple. Keep an eye out for her in solo queue. Decreased win rates include Skarner, Karthus, Cassiopeia, Hecarim, and Aatrox. My Little Pony is just a bit littler. Aww. Hecarim isn't a popular champion these days, but has kept a respectable win rate in spite of that. As a jungler, the Shadow of War has good clear time and ganks, and if he gets ahead, he's a huge presence in teamfights due to the healing from his Spirit of the Dread. However, he does struggle if the enemy team has enough disengage. Janna in particular is a rising champion that gives Hecarim a royal headache. Her abilities destroy the pony's mobility and prevent him from staying in the fray. Other popular champions that are hard for Hecarim include Ryze, Kha'Zix, and Lulu, so if you're planning on picking him, considering tailoring your ban phase around it. Hecarim players usually opt for Spirit of the Elder Lizard along with the Trinity Force or Iceborne Gauntlet, but only if they do well enough to justify building damage. Look for this guy horsing around on the Rift. The top 5 champions with the largest increase in ban rates this week are Rammus, Gnar, Ryze, Jace, and Rengar. The Pride Stalker is a popular jungle and very powerful when played correctly, as many of us got to see during Worlds. This reminder of his strength is probably the reason for his increased ban rate. Rengar himself has not been buffed or nerfed since the increased cooldown on his ultimate several months ago. He excels at lane ganking with his ultimate, Thrill of the Hunt, but more creative players will find side ganks with his Bullet Strike as well. Most Rengar players will buy a Madrid's Razor and then build damage items such as a Bilgewater Cutlass, Ghost Blade, or Tiamat. His ultimate and Bullet Strike route allow him to get into melee range, so he can get away with playing as an assassin. That said, he can also build tank items and work as more of an initiating bruiser for his team. Pick your items based on the situation. He has many different possible builds, so make sure you research them well. Finally, the decreased ban rates this week still have Trist up first, dropping another 17%. Yasuo, Kha'Zix, Sion, and Braum rounded out. The heart of the Freljord continues to fade into non-threat status. Little has really changed about him or even the champions that beat him. He's strong against hard-engaged champions like Leona or Thresh, but weak to poke and disengage from Nami, Janna, or even Lulu. Braum's favorite buddy in lane is Lucian, since the Purifier's double shot passive will stack Braum's concussive blows passive quickly. The fact that Braum has been a high ban target for so long is mostly because of his high initial win and ban rate upon release. Even long after he was nerfed, players still remember that dominance and are hesitant to play against him. Braum is not stifling in today's meta. He's a usable pick, but has many hard lane matchups, so make sure you think about the enemy's team comp when you choose him. Look for the mustache in solo queue. And that does it for this week's episode. Please be sure you check back every week for the latest League of Legends picks, bans, and win rates. Please be sure you like and comment below, especially if you like this video. Maybe some champions you want to hear discussed, except for Urgot. I'm just kidding. We'll even do Urgot, I promise you guys. Make sure you subscribe to LolKing's YouTube channel before you go. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitch TV at Lindsay Geektron. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see everyone next week.